Alright, so I haven't posted in a while, I'm aware, but I thought I'd post a video with a sort of a different pace and talk about sort of what the game is right now, where I've what my opinion is on the game and not where I think it should go. No, I'm not saying that, my opinion weighs more than developers, not by a long shot, but I have for some background information, I've been playing this game since around 2019, 2020, which was the lockdown that we had, and in that time period, I've spent uh, almost, I want to say, 3,000 hours, if not four. Which I'm not saying to boast at all. I mean, I much rather would have spent that time doing something else. But spending it in this game, I can say that I don't regret it. I don't think I would have spent it in any other game by a long shot. I mean, I've played Warfare, I've Modern Warfare, I've played GTA 5, and those are amazing games. But for my personal taste, I mean, I only play free games. I only play those on my, to the credit of my friends' devices. But I can truly say that this game is not as bad as people make it out to be. In my humble opinion, I do truly believe it is a beautiful game, and I do believe that developers have done an impressive job with making this game. I'm not gonna sit here and write it all video, but I do truly believe that it is a masterpiece of a game, and it is the developer's choice of where they want to take it, whether that be bad or good for the game. I mean, it's up to them, right? But in the 3,000 hours I've spent, I can say that I've had ups and downs. I, me personally, I love this game. I mean, I've met some lifelong friends in this game online, and I still talk to them over those. I still talk to them over those 4 years I've spent in this game. Not 4 years in this game, but spent over the span of playing this game. Now, a common gripe that people have is that the grind is, to put it more, nicely, bad. People will use more explicit words to describe the grind of this game, and all power to them. I'm not gonna sit here and say the grind is amazing. The grind is pretty piss poor. But regardless of all the stuff that people say, in all seriousness, I don't believe you need to grind to have fun. In my opinion, and in my experience, the most fun I've had in this game is probably from reserve to around 6.770 BR. That for me was the most fun I've had. And more specifically in the World War II sort of vehicles and reserve vehicles, I think were the most fun for me, at least. And in the background of that game, I have some Tiger 2 gameplay, which is my favorite tank in game. I've had the most high kill games in this tank by a long shot. I've gotten my first and only nuke so far in this game, to my knowledge, in this tank here when I got 15 kills. But in this tank is at 6.7, so I truly think that if you do want to have fun in this game, don't necessarily think to yourself that you will have to grind all this top tier. No. In my opinion, and I feel like a lot of other people too, the lower tiers are very fun if you know what you're getting into. The thing about top tiers, the grind is super long, and for all the game is beautiful and everything, the grind itself is excruciatingly long and painful. But I don't think it's rewarding. I don't think getting to the leopards or the F-16s is gonna be as fun that you thought it was for the effort that you put into it. They're fun, sure, for the certain people, but in my opinion, from what I've seen in top tier, it's just whoever gets the first shot off most of the time. There's not much skill, let alone any effort into it. It's literally just clicking, whoever can click the button first, or whoever can have the fastest reaction time to spamming their flares off to dodge a missile. But if you're not willing to put in that time, which if you played even if you played like me, which during online school was probably quite a lot, I'm not gonna lie, all my classes, I've spent on this game, but even still, it took me just about a year or 2 years to grind to top tier, and that was on a free to play account with no money spent and no premium time and no premium vehicles. My first top tier jet I still remember was the German MiG 21 BIS SAU or SAW or SAW, whatever you want to call it. The grind to it was excruciating, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've seen some excellent planes along the way, the MiG 19S, but the best fun I've had in this game was on lower tiers, by far, I can say. And that proves a point, too. I mean, the most I can't speak, but the vehicle I played the most in this game is the BF-109 K4. I've gone well over like 1,200 kills in that thing, and I've loved it to death. I love that plane, and I love this tank. I truly believe that the lower tiers are where the fun is. But I don't, and this is my opinion, but I don't think the developers have done a bad job. I think quite the opposite. They've done an excellent job of what they've made with this game. Sure, they can make the economy and the grind a little bit easy for us, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business, so they have to make their own money as well. Even still, I feel like they are going in the direction that they think fits them, and not for nothing, I think it's been working out so far. I mean, player count, to my knowledge, has been growing, and it is larger than ever before. It seems everybody's on YouTube playing. Everybody's been getting more views. More people are searching this game up. So I do think the player count is growing, and I don't think the community is bad either. I think, similar to what the developers have done, it's quite the opposite. I think this game has one of the best communities out there. At times, of course, it can be quite like rough, and it's to be proven. I mean, it's a war vehicle game, and as modern vehicles all the way up to like the 2000s, obviously there's going to be harsh politics and whatnot, but excluding that aside, this community is some of the best people I've seen. Obviously I'm not going to sit here and say it's 100% the best. It's obviously some bad numbers, but there are truly some great people playing this game. And if you're a new player and you can befriend someone who's a higher level, it will help you out. They will teach you some of the good things to play in this game, and I've done so myself as well, which is kind of an odd to say that I was at one point that one new player, dead stock on everything, didn't know what I was doing. I was just playing arcade. I do think the developers could make it easier for new players coming into the game. As I've seen with some of my friends who recently got into the game, they did struggle quite a lot. The learning curve is quite steep, but that is not to say that you should go ahead and spend your money. I don't think you should spend your money on games a lot, especially not a game that you just got. But the way to have fun in this game is not to throw money at it, and the way to win at this game, I do not believe it's pay to win. I think you can get some vehicles to ease the grind, and I think you can get some decent vehicles, but that's not to say that this game is pay to win. That's by a long shot not the case, in my opinion. Whenever the sales do come around, though, if you are playing a certain nation, say whenever the sales come around, you play Russia ground, your win rates will go into the ground because of all the new players buying that tank. But that's not to say that they release premium vehicles that are going to break the game. I mean, there are some overpowered vehicles, but you can definitely damage and kill them with tech tree vehicles. It's not to say that you're going to automatically win the game by pressing W. I do think the developers could sort of step back from adding all the new age technology and sort of add some slower paced, more World War II vehicles for sure. I mean, being a BF-109 enjoyer, I really love to see some of the later curve first models come into the game, or even some World War One stuff like the biplanes, the triplanes, or even some of the early tanks that they had. And I know Enlisted's out, but I really hope the developers went back towards adding infantry into War Thunder. Again, I know Enlisted is out whenever it's the infantry version of this game, but I think if they added that, it would be a massive upgrade. Speaking of, I just died to a KV-220, which is premium. The thing is insane armor. But again, like it's not gonna make you just win the game automatically. The thing has insane armor, but the gun is lackluster. And now we switch into the Ag Panther, which is another point to my example. This tank is amazing for what it is, and it is really fun. You have great mobility, you have really good armor depending on what gun you're facing in terms of the enemy, and your gun itself is incredible. It's a long 88, one of the best guns in the game, I think. And for the BR, in my opinion, I do believe it's the best gun. Decent reload rate, amazing penetration, sometimes lacking in the post pen, but it is an 88 at heart, so most kills you get will be one shot. And even if it's not one shot, the enemy will be crippled. But I would rather play this than a top tier MBT, because for me there's no fun in top tier. I mean, you could obviously have amazing moments, don't get me wrong, but the moments you have in these, especially if you run with a squad, with a group of friends, are amazing. For example, this tank by itself, 4 Yak Panthers in a forest at distance, or maybe you want to go brawling. That's up to you too. But in the 4 years I spent in this game, I started off as a true pilot. I never played ground RB, I never touched it. I'm not gonna sit here and say ARB is better. I have majorly switched over to ground RB. I still love my airplanes, don't get me wrong. I'm a much better pilot than I will be a tanker. But if you do want to have some fun, I highly recommend ground RB, because it's just an amazing mix of everything. And if you get to know your tanks, it's truly fun. But there you go. Someone's coming with a nuke, so they probably have a fun game. But again, I don't think the developers did a bad job with this game. I think it's not quite the opposite. I think they've done an amazing job, and I don't regret spending the 3,000 hours I have in this game. Obviously, it would have been better spent somewhere else, but it's an amazing game, and it's a beautiful game. I don't think you should necessarily base your reviews off the reviews you see online, but if you are truly looking for a wonderful game to play and some friends to make, I do highly recommend War Thunder. But that's the end of my video. I hope it wasn't too boring. That's just my opinion on this game, and yeah, so thanks for watching.